Hey everybody, Coach here. I've got a different plant of the week for you this week. This week's plant of the week is going to be one that I want you to be very cautious of if you fall in love with it in its little gallon can at the nursery. This week's plant of the week that I would like you to do a lot of due diligence on is Mexican feathergrass. Now it doesn't grow everywhere. It's mostly zone 8 and higher. I have not seen it in zones 7, 6, 5, 4. I don't think it really does very well in the super colds. But Mexican feathergrass is one of those alluring, very graceful and useful landscape grasses, but it has the propensity to invade other spaces, not only in your yard, but if you happen to live in a windy area and you allow this thing to go to seed, oftentimes your neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors' neighbors are going to have Mexican feathergrass. It is now classified out west and some of the southwest as an invasive species. So do use some caution. If you do get it, it is a fantastic plant in its early stages, but you have to constantly monitor the ever-evolving seed heads on it and dispose of it carefully. Just because you cut the seed heads off and then you walk all the way across your yard with the seed heads dangling in your hand, you'll end up with stipa grass all the way across your yard in some places. So be aware. This week's plant of the week, Mexican feathergrass, I would keep it to 1 and see how it does for you, but there are so many other choices out there. And the reason I'm bringing this week's plant of the week to be aware of is that I have seen it a lot of times spread and really disappoint very well-intended homeowners, and they end up pulling it out. I've even had family members, and I mentioned this in another video, that planted it, loved it for the first year, and then hated it, and they ended up digging it out. It can be controlled with pruning. It can be controlled with chemicals, but if you're having to bring out the glyphosate or the Roundup in order to control it, that's called a clue. And by that time, you should be digging and removing it all and getting rid of it. So be aware. Very, very nice in its early stages. The second year, it really likes to go to seed and bolt. If you prune it really hard, it tends to get a little wobbly and it wants to go to seed when it's stressed. So be aware of it. That's all I can tell you about it. Mexican feathergrass. There's other choices, and this one might not be the ticket for you. All right, you are now aware and you are educated. Thanks for tuning in. Give me a like. Catch you on the channel.